We have had quite a few weeks of fragrances going viral, especially in the Middle Eastern category, and in today's video I have here 5 fragrances and I'm going to be giving you my unfiltered, unbiased opinions about whether these fragrances are worth the hype or not. Not going to lie, for me personally, I think some of these fragrances are full bottle worthy and some of them are not, but whether you like gourmands, florals, vanillas, I do think there's something in here for everyone, especially if you like more masculine leaning or even feminine leaning scents. We have a very diverse video today. If this is your first time watching this channel, hello, my name is Anya. I love fragrances and I talk about them here on this channel all the time, and I also created this video or did this video because you guys voted on it. So every now and then I'll put a poll up on my community tab and I'll ask you what you want to see next. This week I asked you if you wanted to see this video or a video talking about some new designers, and I'm going to be doing both videos obviously, but this is the one I'm publishing first because it was the most popular idea. But I'm very excited for that designer video, by the way, because there are some really good ones. Like, there's some really good new designer releases that I've tried for both men and women actually, so I might really split that into 2 parts for masculine and feminine because there are some amazing releases and some that I was kind of like blasé about. But yeah, that video is coming next. But also, I just wanted to say, this was the week that I launched my fragrance expense tracker. And if you don't know what that is an spreadsheet that I created off of Google Sheets where you can essentially track how much you're spending on fragrances and track your collection. So let's just say you have a lot of fragrances, full bottles, decants, samples, discovery sets, and you just want a way to keep track of how many you have of each category from each brand. You can totally do that with this tracker. It's so easy to use. I'll put the link for it down below if you want to check it out. And I also have a whole video dedicated to kind of just like walking you through the tracker so you guys can learn about that as well. And I will say, I was kind of nervous about putting it out there. And the reception I've gotten has been so wonderful. Thank you to everyone who has purchased it. You totally don't have to, obviously, but thank you if you have purchased it. I really want to say it truly means a lot. Your support is so heartwarming, and thank you. And even the comments, like the positive comments, even if you didn't buy it, but you left a comment, thank you very much. I really appreciate that as well. Okay, so I'm going to stop yapping and get into this video. For the record, I have purchased decants of all of these perfumes. I'm trying to be very mindful about buying full bottles and very picky, and I'm really glad I did, because some of these fragrances I would absolutely buy a full bottle of, and some of them not so much. Starting off with a fragrance that I'm very glad I was able to get myself a decant of, because this is definitely not going to be a full bottle purchase in my collection, but it might be in yours. We're talking about Angham by Lattafa. This is a perfume that everyone on TikTok, I literally watched a few videos and people were talking about how amazing it was, how it was like a must-have. You need to get a full bottle of it. It's so good. And I understand why, but for my taste, it's not something that will work for me. This is a very vanilla and ambery fragrance with a touch of lavender. Lavender is not heavy here, but it does come off as rather balsamic, kind of like Burberry Goddess. Burberry Goddess. So if you liked Burberry Goddess, this is a really good affordable alternative. People have been saying that it smells pretty much the same, and I don't have Burberry Goddess to compare, but I've smelled Burberry Goddess several times and it does smell very similar. So if you're looking for a more affordable alternative to Burberry Goddess, this might be the fragrance for you. Unlike, for example, the Libre line, which also features lavender and vanilla, this is a more balsamic, smoother version of an ambery vanilla lavender combination. I like it actually quite a lot, but this is not going to be a full bottle worthy fragrance for me, unless of course I finish my decant. And I did get, I got this like 8 ml size decant, so I have a hefty amount to go through. And yeah, it's nice, but it's not a love for me. I like it. And I would recommend it. If you like the Burberry Goddess fragrances, if you like that kind of fragrance profile that leans kind of, I don't want to say linear because I'm not like trying to imply that this fragrance is simple, because I don't think it necessarily is. It's just vanilla and lavender with a bit of a balsamic twist, and that's it. Like a resinous quality to it. So personally, I don't tend to gravitate towards that vanilla and lavender combination. So maybe this is why I'm kind of like not in love with it. But this does have top notes of ginger, pink pepper, and mandarin, a mid of lavender, praline, cacao, and jasmine, and then a base of vanilla, amber, and musk. So while balsamic accords don't like explicitly feature in this fragrance, I definitely smell something more balsamic. I do smell the ginger as well. It's a brighter fragrance. It's a bit more subtle, um, but it's definitely not going to be a skin scent. I've worn this on the skin, and I would say this is moderate. It's not my favorite, and I'm glad I did not get the full size bottle because if I had gotten the full size bottle, I might have been disappointed. But if you're looking for a straightforward vanilla fragrance, this one is a really good one to try because honestly, it's not too heavy, but it's not going to be my favorite in this video. So this next perfume is a surprise for me because I actually really like it, and it's based off of a fragrance or is supposed to have similarities to a perfume that I literally cannot wear. And this is the fragrance right here. This is Confection by Paris Corner. It's the one that has like the blue and pink ombre bottle, and I'll of course flash photos of the fragrances on the screen as I talk about them. So this is supposed to be quite similar to Vanilla Candy Rock Sugar by Kayali. That is a perfume that everyone was obsessed about, and I think everyone is to some degree. I cannot wear that fragrance. I do not like that fragrance because there's something about the sweetness in it that to me smells like it reminds me of being in a dentist office. And I think it's literally because of a scent memory that I have that I cannot wear it. Like I want to like it, but I just can't. It's not something that works for me. So that's why when I saw this fragrance and I saw that it was supposed to be similar to the Kayali one, I was kind of like, I was hesitant about it. I was kind of like, okay, I'll try it, but I don't know if I'll love it. And I actually really like it. This might be a full size bottle for me. It might be because something that they've done with this fragrance is that they've taken the DNA of the Kayali perfume, and I don't have it here to compare, and I'm just comparing it because a lot of people say it's similar. But it seems to me that they've taken the DNA of the Kayali perfume and they've dialed back that like too achingly sweet quality that I can't go for, but I understand other people really like. They've dialed that back, and now for me, this is actually something that is quite wearable and something that I actually like. So let's go into the notes so we can break this down a little bit more. Okay, so this perfume has top notes of vanilla, pear, marshmallow, rum, violet leaves, and ylang-ylang, a mid of bubblegum, jelly bean, caramel, jasmine, and latinum, and then a base of sugar, patchouli, tonka, cashmere wood, vetiver, and sandalwood. So to me, it's almost like they've dialed back on the bubblegum and maybe amped up the jelly bean. Yeah, I like that. I like this one a lot. Yeah, this one's really nice. Yeah, I like this one. It's really quite lovely. Yeah. Yeah, it's good. This is one I'm considering for a full size bottle. If I finish this one, I'm getting the full size bottle. Um, if you found vanilla candy rock sugar to be too sweet, this one is a good alternative because it kind of leans into those other notes. It's still gourmand, um, but I would say it's more focused on that jelly bean because to my nose, the vanilla candy rock sugar, that one is way more focused on that bubblegum. Like, yeah, it's way focused on the bubblegum. And there's just like, again, that quality there that I can't go for it. But this one, it's like a different twist to a similar scent profile. And I really like it. So yeah, this one is a win. Is it worth the hype? Yeah, I would say it's worth the hype. It's good. I really like it a lot. Yeah. Is Angham worth the hype? I would say that one's worth the hype if you like your vanilla scent profiles. If you're like me and you don't like Burberry Goddess, don't get it. But if you love Burberry Goddess, just like a lot of people, then you should try it out. So let's move on. I need to step it up because I've been talking about these fragrances for quite some time now. I have a lot more coming that I am obsessed with, but I'm going to also segue into a fragrance that's not technically new, but I have seen this floating around a bit and I was curious to try it out. This is the Lattafa Bade'e Sublime fragrance, that fragrance that comes in the bright red bottle, and I really like this one. This one is good. I really like it. So this is supposed to be a fragrance with lychee in it. To be more precise, this has top notes of apple, lychee, and rose, a mid of plum and jasmine, and then a base of vanilla, moss, and patchouli. So this perfume smells like you definitely smell the lychee, okay? And I also smell the apple, but it's not like an artificial smelling apple. Like it's actually quite photorealistic. It's a very fresh, it's more of a, not fresh, but like it's more of like an ozonic kind of fresh fragrance with the sweetness of those fruits. Um, I really like this perfume specifically for those situations where you want to have that kind of like ozonic, sparkling, freshy quality, but you want to have a long lasting fragrance because this is a very long lasting perfume. And I definitely know this is from the moss and the patchouli notes because those fragrance notes will help a fragrance last. But if you have been looking at those like ozonic aquatic fragrances and you want something with that quality but with fruits and something that will last a really long time, this one's actually really, really good. I'm considering getting myself a full bottle of this one. Yeah, this is nice. Like it has lychee in it, but it's a different take on it with the patchouli. I really do like this one a lot. Yeah, this one's a good one. This one's a good one. It's a little bit underrated because not a lot of people are talking about it. But yeah, it's quite nice. So these two fragrances just might be full bottle worthy perfumes in my collection. I am quite impressed by these. They're from Lattafa, and I'm talking about his confession and her confession. So those were the bottles. If you remember my new fragrance releases video from a few weeks ago. By the way, I do fragrance news videos every single Monday on this channel. If you're interested in checking them out, you can subscribe. They're here every single Monday. I talk about what's new, some of what's popular, and also some underrated perfumes that not a lot of people talk about. So I talked about these fragrances and I talked to you about the notes. And I think in that video I was pretty interested. And not gonna lie, these fragrances are quite good. I really, really like them. Again, I'm talking about her confession and his confession. Okay, so the one that is a little bit less popular, people have not been talking about this one as much, is his confession. And this is the Amber Spicy fragrance. And this has notes of cinnamon, lavender, and mandarin, a mid of benzoin, iris, mahonial, and cypress, and then a base of vanilla, incense, tonka, patchouli, cedarwood, and amber. In the opening, it definitely smells, I don't want to say it smells like, it smells nice, but the dry down is where things really get going. In the opening, you get like a very well blended version of that mandarin with that lavender. It's not necessarily overt when it comes to the lavender. The lavender is just there as a bit of a touch, and it's also not super citrusy either. This fragrance does have cinnamon, but it's a very smooth, spicy perfume. It's not overt. You can definitely smell this fragrance as like more of like a luxury smelling scent. And yeah, this is a beautiful vanilla fragrance for those of you who don't want a gourmand specific vanilla. If you want something that's like smooth and elegant, kind of like Kismet for Men, by the way. I brought this into the video because this is really underrated and this never gets talked about. But Kismet for Men is by Maison Alhambra, and I believe they're a subsidiary of Lattafa. But this is a really good perfume, and it kind of reminds me of these fragrances because they have like a similar smooth and elegant quality to them. I really, really like his confession. It's a bit resinous, it's a touch powdery with that iris. This is definitely a fragrance that I'd picture really on anyone. It's a very smooth and seductive and elegant scent, a bit understated, but pretty good if you want something that simply smells elegant. If you don't want something that's overtly gourmand or something that's too citrusy. This one is just the right amount of a blended fragrance. It smells very elegant and it kind of Yeah, it's like one of those effortless smelling perfumes. It's really, really good. I was quite impressed by it. And I do think it can be worn by pretty much anyone, even though it says for men. It doesn't have, even though it does have actually lavender and mandarin, for instance, and cypress. Those are usually found in masculine leaning fragrances. I still think this is thoroughly unisex. What I do find in a lot of masculine perfumes that carry those notes, a lot of those perfumes are a little bit too heavy on those notes and they lean into them a little bit too much for my taste. What I like about this is that it's all very smooth, all very well blended. I can't necessarily pick out any one note over the others. It's all just a collaboration between all of them, and it's very, very elegant. This has not been getting a lot of hype at all compared to the feminine version of Her Confession, but I definitely do think this is one worth checking out. It's quite good. It's quite good, especially if you love like a vanilla fragrance that's not too sweet. This is really good. I like this one a lot. The dry down especially, it opens up with this beautiful vanilla tonka combination. It's really, really good. I really like that fragrance a lot. I would say it's a bit underrated at the moment because not a lot of people are talking about it. A lot of people are talking about Her Confession because Her Confession is supposed to be similar to Blanche Bête, right? And Blanche Bête is one of those viral fragrances, and I think Liquide Imaginaire actually might have raised the price on Blanche Bête. So like right now it's close to $300 because everyone loves it. I mean, it's actually no, not everyone loves it. It's a very polarizing perfume, I think, especially because of the price. So people either love it or they say it's nice, but it's not worth the $300. And I would say Liquide Imaginaire is one of my favorite niche brands out there, and I haven't really bought anything from them. I just have a few decants, but they're on my to have a full bottle of list. They're inspired by alchemy. They're really cool. But this is supposed to be a near identical version of Blanche Bête. So if you are looking at Blanche Bête and you're like, okay, I don't know if I want to spend the $300 on a perfume like that, this is a really good option. This is really, really good. And I think I'm going to get myself a full bottle of this because it's quite nice. It's been hyped a lot. So let's get into the notes. We have notes of cinnamon and mystical at the top, a mid of tuberose, mahonio, jasmine, and incense, and then a base of tonka, vanilla, and musk. So this perfume in the opening, it smells to me kind of like a creamy coconut, but not a straight up coconut, a coconut flavored dessert, kind of like a coconut cream. Yeah, and then it settles down into a gorgeous vanilla, maybe with like a hint of spice. It's as if they took like a few specks of cinnamon and just put it on top of that coconut cream dessert. This is good. This is really, really good. And the florals are there, but they're not too overt. Um, if you love vanilla fragrances and you want something that's like a lighter, more airy, but still something that's going to stay, but not something that's going to necessarily overpower people, this is a really good one. And I kind of go between his confession and her confession because, to be honest, I like them both. But the one that's wowing me is her confession. But his confession easily, I think it could be one of those fragrances that I grow to love the more I wear it. Hers confession, I would say it's more of an obvious love. This is a love for me. You know, I'm very picky. But her confession, people are hyping it up for a reason. I would say it's worth the hype. It's a really good one. And let me spray on some more of it. It smells so creamy and beautiful. I love it. It's so good. Let me check the scent pyramid again. So tuberose and jasmine are the floral notes here. I get like maybe a tinge of those, but I'm more getting the vanilla, like the vanilla and that coconut cream. I know it's not in the scent pyramid, but I literally am getting like a creamy coconut cream dessert kind of smell. This is really good. This is really, really good. Yeah, I'm impressed. You know what? Oh my gosh. Okay, you know what we should do? Let's spray on his confession. They actually do pair quite well together. And I don't know, you might disagree with me, but they have similar notes with that, like, I think synthetic note, mahonio, and cinnamon and vanilla. They have similarities. They easily could be a pair, which is why I think they're being marketed as such. So now that we're at the end of the video, I'm going to be giving you my unfiltered breakdown of what's worth it, in my opinion, and what's not. And we're going to do a quick recap on why. So, bottom 5, Angham. I'm sorry, it's not impressing me. It's nice, it's not impressing me the way some of these other ones are. I get why people are hyping it up. It is a nice vanilla. It's similar to Burberry Goddess, but it's just not to my taste. Next up, we have Sublime by Lattafa. This one is only in this spot because, to be fair, this is a video full of fragrances that I genuinely really, really like a lot. And I do still think this is a good one. It's a bit underrated in my opinion, but it does stand well on its own. It's a really nice option, especially if you want that fruity fragrance, but you want it to last, but you still want it to be a little bit aquatic. This one is definitely one to try. Next, we have Confection. I really like it. It's such a beautiful gourmand. Again, I do get that jelly bean. It's really, really good. This one's a nice one, especially if you love gourmand fragrances, but maybe don't want something that's so focused on that bubblegum. And finally, we have top 2, His and Her Confession. I would say right now, His Confession is number 2. Her Confession is number 1. They're so good. They're so good. It's hard to rank them like that. But these are some good fragrances. I am very impressed with, I would say, my top 3 to 4. Okay, Angham. If that's your taste, it's fine. It smells really good, but it's not my taste. It's not something I'm going to be buying a full bottle of. But yeah, that's my opinion. There you go. Thank you so much for watching until the end of this rather long video. I was so chatty today, and it's getting dark. It is literally getting dark so early these days. Winter is officially coming. I mean, fall is already here. But thank you so much for watching until the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it and found it interesting, and I'll see you again soon.